Hello, my babes. I'm going to attempt to record a video right now. I really hope it works. My neighbor is literally blasting her music as per usual. This is what she literally always does. So I was going to sit down and do a video on a self-love topic, but I need silence for that. I can't have all this weird ambient noise. So we're going to give it a whirl with this one. I wanted to talk about my no spend. I'm going to actually pull up my Notion no spend template that I created. And I'm going to kind of like go through it with you guys because I feel like it just captures everything. Because it's like, the rules that I have for how I do it and just all of the parameters that you would need to know. And then I'll go through it and kind of like show you all of the parameters of it. It's set up for no spend October because that was the first month that I ever did it, but you can literally use it for any month. Basically, it opens up and there's a little blurb that just says that it has all the tools you need to get through your no spend. There's a calendar that you can use to track your successful and unsuccessful days. And then you can also use the calendar to plan how you want to spend your no spend. So you can plan meals and free activities and just have things to look forward to within the calendar if you would want to do something like that. For this one, basically, to me, a successful day just means that there was no unintentional spending, and an unsuccessful day means that there was unintentional spending. So the first thing you want to do when you're trying to execute a no spend is you want to determine what your why is for your no spend, because you're going to come back to your why every time it's hard for you to get through one of your days. And you want to take your time to really formulate your why, and I give you space to do that in this template. So you want to answer, why are you doing this? What do you hope to get out of it? What do you think the outcomes will be? And then you want to keep this front and center for yourself and always come back to it during the challenge, especially when you feel like you're struggling. So you'll just spend time writing a paragraph or two about your why. The next question is, what level of a no spend do you want to be at? So to be a true no spend, then you really need to only be focusing on allowing yourself to spend for your essentials, which includes anything you need to keep you and your household functioning. And then there's 3 levels of a no spend. So the lowest level is a low spend, where you're basically targeting the areas of your life where you know that you have an overspending problem, and then you eliminate those categories only for the next 30 days. Because like I said, this workbook is intended to function for a month period, but you could literally do a no spend weekend, you could do a no spend week, you could do half a month, 21 days, whatever you want to do, you can do it. I think the point is to literally just do it. So in a low spend, you're going to just focus on your problem areas, let's say. Then we have a medium level, which would be a no spend. This is in which you determine what your essential categories are that you absolutely must spend on in order to keep your household and your life functioning properly. And these would be the only categories that you're allowed to spend money on. So that's pretty much like the one that I do, the one that you've been seeing me do for June and now July. Then you have a high level, which is a no spend while simultaneously finding ways to bring in extra money. So this could include selling items that you know you can get rid of, finding extra income streams from some sort of a side hustle, picking up extra hours at work, or going ham on investment strategies, or just anything that's going to bring income to you. So you have to determine what level you want to be at and why. And you're going to write it in a little brainstorm session in the workbook. So it could be like a mixture of all three levels. It could be just one level. And you just want to spend some time brainstorming a bit on how you would be able to achieve each level and why it is or isn't right for you. And then what you're trying to get out of your no spend month. And I really do suggest doing a month. Like it can't hurt, if you screw up, you screw up. You just start over again. So the next part of the workbook is the next question, which is what will you spend on and what won't you spend on in your no spend month? So I give you a section that you can literally click into for your will spends, and you're going to use that space to to decide and keep track of the categories and items from your budget that you will spend money on in your no spend month. And these predetermined categories and items are allowed, whether because they fit some kind of an essential need or premeditated obligation that you have for the month. So I give you like a database in order to like set that up, and then it basically covers what the item or category is, the amount of money that you intend on spending, the budget category that it correlates to, and then what payment methods you would use, whether it's cash, credit, debit, loyalty points, etc. So you're really being intentional and thinking about your will spends. You're not just like letting them spontaneously happen or whatever. So that's the next question. So your won't spends is where you're going to work out your budget items and categories that are absolutely off limits in your no spend month. So there's also a clickable section for that, and you go in and you basically just determine which categories are absolutely restricted during your month. And then if you spend on any of these particular items or categories, it will automatically cause you to have an unsuccessful no spend day. Whereas some items that you couldn't foresee in certain budget categories might be justifiable and fall within essentials. These items in the won't spend category could never, or it would be like super far fetched to find the justification to spend on these. So yeah, like this is set up as a list, and it's basically you're just saying like what you wouldn't spend on and then the category in your budget that it correlates to. So that's will spends and won't spends. The next thing is any other rules that you would like to include in your no spend. So these could be things like doing a big decluttering or organizing, using up last of products before you replace them, shopping your closet, shopping your pantry. And you can just use this space to list out any other rules that you'd like to include in your no spend month. And I also suggest that you can use Google or I guess ChatGPT or whatever, but just use some kind of a search engine if you want to find more ideas. So then after that section, there's some more questions that you can answer. So what challenges do you think you're going to face while you're doing your no spend month? And you can use the space in the workbook to list out whatever you're afraid of or whatever you think is going to be really hard. You're just going to basically capture all of your concerns about the challenge and get it all out so that your subconscious mind can focus on solutions instead of sabotaging you. So there's also another space where you can write about your challenges or reflect on hard days. And you can do it in the calendar section if you want, or you can just do it in this part of the workbook. So you could keep a running list in this part of the workbook so that you can keep track of the things that you've overcome, or you can use this space to just vent about what feels really hard or feels really scary. And then you can also remind yourself here about your why and the payoff that you know you're going to get from doing your no spend. So the next section has to do with expenses. Since we want to be meticulous about observing our spending habits, we're going to want to track everything that we do spend every day, even on the categories that we have deemed will spends. And this is because we want to build discipline in observing our spending. And it's especially true for any time we slip up and spend on a won't. All of your expense tracking can go here for the duration of the no spend. And this should be in addition to any of your normal expense tracking that you do for your actual budget. But even I didn't do that. And I think this is just a good space where you can begin to track things if you haven't already. So, like, if you're not an expense tracker as it is, like, this is a space that can introduce you to that and how you would do that. And there is a clickable link that you can go into, and it basically has an expense totals category that can auto populate based on what you enter in the expenses category. That is like two separate links. So you go in your expenses clickable link and you can just put in literally every single expense transaction, the category, the amount, the payment method, and the date. And then that will automatically update on your expense totals, where there's like a little, just kind of like a summary page, which again, I'll show you that after we're done kind of like going through everything. So that's the expense section. The next section is the no spend wish list. So it's basically a shopping wish list. And it's a clickable link, and you utilize this section of your no spend template so that you can take a big step back and observe the things that you would spend money on if you were spending without limits. So it's a space to work out purchases that you love, like, need, and want, and the difference between impulsive buying and planned buying of those items. So the whole love, like, need, and want, that's a Tiffany Alicia thing. And I do think it's a really important distinction to make when you're buying something or thinking about buying it. Do you love it? If you absolutely love it with like every follicle of your being, then yeah, you should probably buy it, right? Because maybe you won't find it again or whatever. But I mean, I'm talking like love it, like where there's no question. Like, say it's an article of clothing, you put it on and you just feel like $1,000,000 in it. You're not questioning anything about it, the price, your body, like how you look, none of it. You're just stoked about this particular article of clothing, then by all means buy it. Then maybe you just like it. Maybe you like it, but you know it's really expensive. You know that you can't afford it. Well, that's different than love, right? Or you like it, but there's just like something a little bit wrong with it. That is way different than loving it. And I know she explains these categories a little bit differently, but I'm just giving it to you the way I interpret it. And then there's needs, which are things, like we said, that are essential and that you and your household require to function properly. And then wanting something where it's just completely frivolous. It's not fulfilling any kind of a necessity, but it's just something that you would prefer to have. It's like, yeah, can you really justify the want? And then are you impulsively buying it, or are you, can you put it in this wish list and then think about it for the duration that you're not spending money? And then when you come back to it, do you still give a crap about it. Really is what it comes down to. So this one is a clickable link too, and you'll use it to keep track of everything you want to buy that you know you can or shouldn't buy during your no spend duration. And the truth is that you may discover by the end of your no spend month that you don't even want the items anymore. So, an alternative way to do this is just to keep a cart and tab open for the store in question. Instead of like adding it to this wish list, you could just use your internet browser to do it. And either way, you want to look at the cost and see how it all adds up. So basically, like if you're adding things to this wish list as you go, like, okay, I would have wanted to have bought that, but I didn't. And I put it in here and it cost $5. And then that happens like 20 times over the course of the no spend challenge in varying amounts, then you're going to see how much money you restricted yourself from spending. Whereas if you were just impulsively spending, you would have spent that money and that money would now be gone. So, looking at how it costs and adds up, the little wish list space, I think it may function a little bit better for educational purposes than if you just literally keep a tab open. Plus, you're going to be tempted to want to click, especially if you have like buy it now enabled or your credit cards like saved to your browser and stuff like that. Like those are going to tempt you more to actually complete the purchase when the whole point is to deter ourselves from completing the purchase. So the clickable link, it's like a link within a link. So there's instructions on how to use it, and basically it's just calling up like a database page where you can just write in the item that you want, and then you can add a photo in if you want to of the item. So like that's what I did. And it's basically like you can put a link to the actual item that's clickable that will take you there. And then it's going to ask you like what what method of purchase is this? Are you buying it used online? Are you buying it new and it's something that you want to invest in right now with the money that you have on your person? Is it something new but you want to save up for it? Is it an item that you want to thrift? Like that kind of a thing. And then it has a place for the price where you can just enter the price. And there's a price tracker function, but I guess that's just where you can basically show like if it goes on sale or if it goes up or down over time or whatever. And then there's a priority section where you could say, is it a need? Is it a priority want? Is it a want, or is it a one day thing? And then these categories for all of this wish list stuff is from Gabby Peterson's shopping wish list template. I just literally used the same format that she had here because it's just a shopping wish list. So I mean, like I don't know, I couldn't think of anything better to add in, so I just used whatever she already had. So then there's a little place you can check if you purchased it or not yet, and then you can put your thoughts about it. Like for me, there's like a nation top here that I really love, and it goes with a pair of pants that I really love from Nation. And I just said I love this whole look, and I put a picture of each of the pants and the top and made like separate things for them. So you can also view it in like a table format where it's basically going to show you the sum total of all of the things that you are thinking about in your wish list. So that's very sobering in my opinion. Like for this, I have like a haul. This is kind of old. So like a haul that I did already purchase from Shara. I have a think this one is like a shower curtain that I ended up not purchasing. Then I have this sweatshirt and pants, like I told you, from Nation. And then there was like a whole grip of candles from Candlefish in Charleston that I was like, oh, I want all of these. And I just wanted to see, like, if I were to buy all of them, even over time, there's literally like $682 worth of candles. I have not bought any of them. I've just bought like TJ Maxx candles, and I've actually stopped burning candles a lot because I just went through like a long phase where I was loving them, and now I don't know, I'm just kind of like over it. But at the time that I made this particular wish list, there was $682 worth of candles on there, which is insane. But this is what I mean. It helps you see it. So with all of those items, the haul, the shower curtain, the 2 garments from Nation, and the candles, it was $1,102 of items. So then you're seeing that and you're like, whoa, like if I was spending willy nilly, it's easy to spend like a G on just kind of frivolous stuff. And then you're missing out on usages of that money to like invest or put towards one of your sinking funds that's really important to you, or just whatever the case may be. That's the function of the wish list. The next section is concluding questions that you're going to fill out after the challenge is over. So there'll be a little congratulations section that you made it, that you deserve to celebrate and do something amazing and commemorate this occasion, because you really do. I mean, it's like a really big deal to start practicing self-control and delayed gratification when it comes to your money. I completely understand, because this is an area that I'm still working out, and I think most of us are. Very few people have this on lock, It's human nature to want to have immediate gratification as opposed to delayed. So, yes, it'll obviously take a lot of discipline that you maybe thought you didn't have, but all along you did have it. And I know you're going to make it to this point, and I know that you're going to do it. And you really should be incredibly proud of yourself when you get to that point. So you'll use this section to start to digest this life-changing accomplishment, and you want to give yourself the biggest hug and wink at your amazing badass self in the mirror because you freaking did it. And that is just so amazing. You did the damn thing, and you want to journal all about it here in this section. So you'll spend some time reflecting on those questions, which I'm not going to share, because I think it's important to save these questions for the total end of the challenge. So that way, when you're reflecting, it's going to just be from such a pure place, and it'll help you draw greater epiphanies from just everything that you are deriving from the experience. So I'm not going to share any of that part, but now I'm going to go ahead and show you the actual workbook. So hopefully the sound is still good, but so it looks like this in Notion. This is the calendar section. And if you just open it, it's literally just like a normal section, like a normal calendar section from Notion. So pretty simple. So this is where you'll write about your why. So there'll be like the prompt and then the space to write about it. The levels, the description of the levels, and then you basically writing about your level, your brainstorm. What will you spend on? What won't you spend on? This is the first like clickable section. So you can come into your will spends, and there's like a little graphic and stuff, kind of fun. And then this is just the database for the will spends. So you see the item or category, the price, the budget category, how you'll pay for it, and then the date that you plan on doing it. Because remember, the key word is that we're planning to do these things. We're not just doing them like willy-nilly. Let's see. So won't spend, that's another clickable section. So there's another little like graphic here. And then you'll use this to list out your won't spends. So you'll just list all your things here and then the budget category that they correlate to. Then we have the rules that you want to include in your no spend. So you'll basically put your own rules, but these were some of mine. And then you'll journal about the challenges, things that you think are hard, and using this space to talk about days that felt hard or remind yourself about the why. And lucky for me, I didn't really have any hard days during this particular installment of the no spend challenge, so I don't have anything written here. So the expenses is the next section. It has a clickable link. Here's a little graphic that's in here. And there's another clickable link into the expenses. So you'll just set it up with the transaction, the category for your budget, the amount of money, and then how you paid for it. So that's that. And then coming back to the expense tracker, this is just a little summary page and it'll show you totals. So I think I admitted earlier that I didn't do this. I just did my normal expense tracking through my big spreadsheet. But again, if you are new to expense tracking, this is just a really good way to help get you acclimated with it. Next, we have the wish list. So it's a clickable link. So you'll come in here. I love this one because it's Cher Horowitz. So you'll come in here and then you'll come in here and you will just use this to put in. So like right here, it's in a table format, but you can put it in the gallery format. So it would be like, here's this one, right? So the top to go with my nation pants. Here's the link to the item. Here is the method of payment, which these are the different ones. The price tracker, the priority, need, want, priority want, or one day item, and then whether or not you purchased it. So for the top, I didn't, but the pants I did purchase. And then I love this whole look, and there's like the little picture. You can keep track of your thoughts on it and stuff like that. And like I said, you can either do the gallery with like the photos, or you can do the table format, and it will total up everything. So that's the advantage of using the wish list as opposed to just having the cart open in your internet browser. And then these are the concluding questions. So you can do those after everything is done. So yeah, so that's my entire Notion no spend template. If you're interested in it, please let me know and I will find a way to get it to you for free. I feel like it's just an important tool for everybody to have. I'm not like selling it or anything, but yeah, if you want this workbook to do your thing in, then please let me know. And I will, like I said, try to figure out a way to get it to you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you consider doing a no spend because they're great and life-changing. Seriously, everyone that you watch do videos on these, they all say the same thing, that it's completely life-changing. And I've said it before, but like there's people who literally do no spend quarters, no spend 6 months, no spend years, no spend 2 years. Like it's insane what people do out there. So if you need inspiration, you can totally just look online and you'll find tons of it out there, but you start where you want to. No spend weekend, no spend week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Just do what you can. And I hope this journal, this workbook, whatever you want to call it, helps you in your journey. So again, let me know if you want it, and please tune in to my next finance video. If you didn't know, I also do vlogs and sit down videos on self-love topics. So please check those out, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification to receive notifications for when I upload videos. I am so appreciative of all of your guys' support. Sending all of my love. I'll see you soon, my babes, in the next one. Bye.